Hi Malcolm, great to meet up with you and do that final session the other day. Just a quick recap on the key point that we discussed. Starting off on the left with driver, the big issue was that the upper centre and the lower centre were very much on top of one another. That made the linear move in the downswing, so the movement of the hips forward towards the target, a little bit more difficult. In order to get some lift on the driver and not come across the ball excessively, we need to separate the upper and lower centre during the downswing. It's a move that most club golfers find difficult, hence the commonality of most ball flights, which is a big slice. Separation of the two centres is limited, so this ball's going to come out pretty low and we're going to cut across the golf ball a little bit. We can see one way, a number of things that happen when a player cuts across the golf ball. We tend to see the lead wrist flex a little bit too much. We see the lead arm start to flex a little bit excessively. And the arms are very bent on the through swing, so we've got limited linear movement, limited extension of the spine, limited separation of the two centres, so the red and the white dots, and we've got arms that are dividing and bending. We're adding a lot of flex to the arms during the through swing. So I want to try and tidy that up. One of the things we can do is reduce the need to make a difficult move. So if we preset the hips forward, so we're actually putting that linear move, or putting some of that linear move in early in the piece, setup, we're now establishing a situation where the pelvis is more forward at setup. Consequently, we don't have to move forward as much during the downswing. So we're eliminating the need to make quite a difficult move, allowing us to focus on other aspects of the swing, such as trying to keep the arms straighter for longer. Now you can see on that one, the pelvis is more forward, the spine is more stretched off, but the arms still flex. Maybe not quite as much, but they still flex. So what we talked about was trying to isolate that, do a little drill. And this is the drill that I would like you to do sort of in the nets. All we're going to do is going to set up with the pelvis forward. We're not going to allow any sort of backswing, and we're going to try and hit these balls as far and as high as we can, which isn't going to be very far, it isn't going to be very high, but you'll sort of get the drift of this. There'll be a bit of commentary on from when we did the session. I'm just going to play this one through for you. So no backswing, as far and as high as we can. You can see as you do that, you start to straighten out the arms. Pelvis is forward. Didn't release the right heel on that one, but you're starting to get arms that are straighter in the through swing. So you're just isolating what's going on through impact. Keep the pelvis forward at setup. Keep the arms straight on the way through. Continue your work with hitting driver off the ground as per our discussion. The swing itself as a whole is coming on a treat. You're just revisiting things that we've done in the past, but you just slip in and out of things. You work on one thing, you start to lose focus on certain areas, and you just need moving back in line. So things are moving well. Keep me posted on your progress. Hopefully things go well for the remainder of the season, and I look forward to working with you again in the coming months. Well done.